It was only a few years ago many people thought Ice Spice would be the next Nicki Minaj, aka the Queen of Rap. From 2022 to early 2024, Ice Spice had achieved hip-hop superstardom and became a household name with the likes of Kendrick Lamar and Drake. However, after the release of her debut album Y2K, which has since been compared to literal trash, her career has taken a huge nosedive. Ice Spice once had peaked at over 45 million monthly listeners on Spotify. Now, in 2025, that number has dropped all the way to 12 million. So, how did someone who had multiple hit records and cosigns from the biggest artists in the world like Nicki Minaj and Taylor Swift end up falling off a cliff? In March 2021, Ice released her first song and music video called Bully Freestyle. That song didn't really gain any traction, but by mid-2022, she was getting recognition as an upcoming artist after only releasing a handful of songs up to that point. A big reason why was because of her On the Radar freestyle in May of that year. Sitting currently at close to 4 million views, Ice Spice really delivered while holding nothing back. As a result, she gained a lot of respect from hip-hop fans. Luckily for Ice, better things were yet to come, and her next move would be life-changing. On August 10th, 2022, Ice Spice released Munch, a song that would catapult her to hip-hop superstardom. But how, you ask? Well, just like with most songs that blow up these days, you can think TikTok. The term Munch was created by Ice Spice because she needed something to rhyme with "he ate it for lunch." Somehow, it all worked, and now she had an anthem for women who get their needs satisfied by a man while having no strings attached. Her confidence and attitude only added to her growing interest among female fans. At the time, it felt like the entire social media world was unable to resist rapping the song's catchy chorus.
Oh, you thought I was feeling you? That nigga's a munch. Nigga's a eater, he eat it for lunch.
However, what really made Munch take off into the mainstream was a leaked DM Drake sent to Ice Spice that read, "That Munch and your On the Radar freestyle, hard AF. I'ma play them both on our radio show." 2 days later, she was spotted next to Drake at his annual OVO Fest in Toronto. Many people thought Drake was trying to hook up with her. I mean, look, let's keep it 100. Ice Spice is an attractive woman, and Drake does have a reputation for sleeping around, so both of them hooking up wasn't such a far-fetched idea. Nonetheless, nothing was happening between them. But all the speculation was great marketing for Munch, which quickly went viral and led to her signing her first ever record deal with 10K Projects and Capitol Records. Fast forward to January 20th, 2023, and Ice Spice releases her debut EP, Like, with the album cover showcasing Ice in a provocative pose. It only had 6 songs but included her popular singles like Bikini Bottom, In Her Mood, and the aforementioned Munch. The next month in February, Ice would finally make her first appearance on the Billboard Hot 100 on a song titled Gangsta Boo by Lil TJ featuring Ice herself. To be honest, I was surprised Munch never charted on the Hot 100, considering how big it felt at the time. Pause. Even on Spotify, it only has 147 million streams, which is a lot, but it's also among her lowest streams for any single released. Still, everything was going right for Ice, and it only continued when she was featured on Boys a Liar Part 2 by Pink Pantheress. That record was massive. Boys a Liar Part 2 was easily one of the biggest songs of 2023 and is unsurprisingly Ice's most streamed song so far with almost 1 billion streams. It peaked at number 3 on the Hot 100 and catapulted Ice into mainstream music. Even her idol Nicki Minaj took notice and called her the People's Princess. With that being said, it was only right for both Ice and Nicki to collab on a song together, and eventually that would happen when Nicki hopped on a remix of Ice's song Princess Diana in April of 2023. Princess Diana was another hit record for the young superstar, reaching as high as number 4 on Billboard's biggest chart. However, just when many people thought Ice Spice's career couldn't get any bigger, the unexpected happened. She got a phone call from Taylor Swift's team asking her if she wanted to do a song with the megastar.
My manager James is like, "Yo, sit down for this." Yeah, so he's just like, "Taylor, she wants you to get on her record." And I started bawling my eyes. On the phone, I'm like, oh, like that's great. But then when I hung up, I'm just like bawling my eyes out. Like I just couldn't believe it.
The song would be a remix to Karma from Taylor's Midnight's album. Unsurprisingly, the Karma remix peaked at number 2 on the Hot 100. This made Ice Spice the artist with the most Hot 100 top 5 singles in 2023, something that nobody thought would ever happen. It wasn't like Ice Spice was super talented in creating amazing music, but here she was, a household name after only 2 years of releasing music. No matter if people loved her or hated her, one thing was for certain, her meteoric rise was very, very impressive, and somehow she kept topping herself. Again, pause. Since their collaboration, the two have been seen hanging out at football games and award shows like best friends, but the whole friendship seems kind of forced. For example, look at Ice Spice and then look at Taylor Swift. Does it look like these two have anything in common besides being artists? One girl's from the Bronx and makes drill music. The other girl is an international superstar who makes pop/country songs for teenage girls. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. Anyway, only 1 month after working with Taylor, Ice received another huge opportunity that she couldn't turn down. She was chosen to make an original song for the Barbie movie soundtrack. Ice would enlist the help of Nicki Minaj once again, and the duo released Barbie World in June. It was a fun song perfect for the summer and received praise from critics. Not only did it give Ice another top 10 hit, but Barbie World was also nominated for Best Rap Song at the Grammys the next year. At this point, it's pretty safe to say Ice Spice was the unanimous 2023 Rookie of the Year in the music industry. That 1 year alone was better than most artists' entire careers, and as a result, a lot of jealousy and resentment was directed towards her, especially because most people didn't think she was talented and only got this far off of her good looks and constant twerking. Her haters were preying on her downfall, and unfortunately for Ice, their prayers would be answered. In 2024, Ice Spice confirmed that her debut album Y2K was finally releasing that year, and the first single to promote the album would be Think You the Shit, Fart. Ice later confirmed this was a diss song towards Lotto, another prominent female rapper. Even though Think You the Shit charted well initially, it still underperformed, lasting only 6 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100. The problem many listeners had with the song was that it sounded like every single Ice Spice song ever made. She hadn't taken that next step as an artist. Throughout history, we've seen plenty of artists come along who got hot really fast, but cooled down severely because all or most of their songs are repetitive and sound the same. And now Ice Spice was a victim of that. Just go and listen to any Ice Spice song. All she talks about is being a baddie, shaking her ass, and making money. Oh, and let's not forget the numerous poop references on her songs. Brody took a fake perk, now he got tummy runs. I'm his poopy but I never smell. I'm his poopy like I need a diaper. Yes, these are real lyrics, people. It was like she was trying to build her entire brand around poop. On July 26, 2024, Y2K finally dropped, and to no one's surprise, it was mostly met with negative reviews from both critics and hip-hop fans.
And now that we're here, it feels like such a nothing burger. The hooks are basic, the features are forgettable, the instrumentals I would say are pretty typical.
Y2K ended up debuting at number 18 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling only 28,000 copies in its first week. This was definitely not the numbers a hip-hop superstar should be achieving. However, there are two main reasons why she underperformed. First reason, Ice Spice is a singles type of artist. She's not someone that's going to create an amazing album because she brings nothing interesting or creative to the table. I know that sounds harsh, but this isn't just an Ice Spice problem. It's bigger than that. It's a hip-hop problem. Almost every new artist that comes out and achieves some level of mainstream success ultimately struggles to create a good album. Why? Well, there can be many reasons. They may only be making music for the money, or they don't have the passion to make music and are only using it as a platform to go and do other things, which is what I think Ice Spice's ultimate goal is. Last but not least, TikTok. Labels encourage artists nowadays to make songs that go viral instantly, and as a result, the music from these artists are watered down to the point where the hook is the only memorable part of a song. When those songs do go viral, the artists feel like they finally made it and it's only champagne wishes and caviar dreams from there. They're led to believe something that simply isn't true. They might be able to get away with mediocre songs released as individual singles, but when it's album time, that formula doesn't work. Ice Spice was and is just another example of that. The second reason why she may have underperformed, bad press. Just a few months before the release of Y2K, Ice Spice's public image took a major hit thanks to someone who was very close to her. Everyone, meet Baby Storm, Ice Spice's former best friend who leaked private text messages on Twitter between her and Ice. She had receipts that allegedly showed Ice throwing shade at Nicki Minaj. Ice claimed that she brought Nicki onto the song for the Barbie movie soundtrack, not the other way around. Barbie invited me to do it alone, but since that's her brand, I invited her on, and she doesn't even see that as me bringing her something. She's kinda like my mom, ungrateful and delusional. In the leaks, she was also frustrated about how Nicki wanted to own a large percentage of her publishing rights. No, she wants publishing from all my songs, including third-party writing competitions. So anything I write for other people or any songs I get on. To be fair, I'd be pretty mad too if someone I'm not even signed to as an artist wanted to have all my publishing rights. In an interview with Rolling Stone, Ice Spice responded to the leaked messages by saying, "Somebody I called my friend had me open up and be vulnerable with them." As for how she thinks Nicki feels about the situation, she's busy as hell. I don't think she really cares about shit like that coming from a random girl. But what I said in those texts was just in a moment of frustration around contract negotiations. I could have chosen different words. Yep, she definitely could have, but now she had alienated herself from the biggest female rapper in the world, and in doing so became public enemy number one to Nicki Minaj's loyal fanbase, the Barbs. If you don't know anything about the Barbs, just know this. They are ruthless and pretty toxic to anyone who says anything negative about their queen.
Are you stupid? You could never in your life give Nicki Minaj an opportunity. You could never do nothing for her, literally. This is a lady with an established career of like 20 years now. Who the fuck you think you are talking about? She don't see me as doing nothing for her. Bitch, talking about ungrateful. Are you dumb?
When it comes to Ice, the reality is no matter how many followers she has across social media, her 28,000 first week sales and poor album reception breaks the illusion of how hot she thinks she is. At this point, she's closer to an influencer than an actual hip-hop artist. It's not enough to sustain a music career on physical appearances alone without any substantial talent. The writing was always on the wall ever since the first day she blew up. When the only thing you can talk about is being a baddie and pooping, well then you shouldn't be surprised. Does this mean that Ice Spice can never bounce back to become a successful and respected artist in the future? No. But if I was a betting man, I wouldn't risk my money. Do you remember the time Kai Cenat told her to freestyle on stream, but she chose to twerk instead? Let Ice Spice's journey serve as a reminder that while pretty privilege can open the door, talent and substance is what keeps the door open. And right now it looks like the door is closing shut.